I am honored and beyond humbled to have been selected as the 2016 Connecticut Teacher of the Year. I would like to say congratulations to all of the amazing teachers who shared the spotlight with me tonight. You represent all that is good in this profession. To my family and friends, my husband who I adore, and my two grandmothers, Elizabeth Fleming and Roberta Manus, who loved me. I thank you to my children for sharing this journey. There are no words to describe the Waterbury community. My visionary superintendent, who truly has become a Waterbury girl. The administrators, the teachers, the students, the Board of Ed, local businesses, families, they're all gushing with 62 years of pride, and it's great. It's very difficult to write a speech. You must first consider who your audience is and what you want your message to be. In preparing for tonight, I asked myself, what would I like to say to a room full of educators and friends gathered to celebrate teachers? You all represent excellence in teaching here in Connecticut, so I don't feel that I can teach you anything. So I would like to learn from you. The only thing I love more than teaching is learning. So I speak to you tonight from the perspective of a student. Last week, I was speaking with one of my colleagues, and he said he can feel a nervous energy whenever I'm in the room. I thought a lot about that statement, and I would say I have to agree with him. That nervous energy is the student in me, who is always eager to learn from every interaction, to take away something and improve my craft. That nervous energy is the student deep down in me who is ever present and informs my entire decision-making process. So tonight, the student in me would like to speak to you. Most of you have a vivid memory of an educator or a teacher who was a major influence in your life. I too have those memories. At every stage in my life, I can remember a teacher who had a significant impact on me. There was Mrs. McKinney, my third grade teacher, who baked me a chocolate chip cake on my birthday, and Mrs. Turner, a high school guidance counselor who came to my house to inquire why I had been absent so many days. There was Dr. Bert Saxon, my amazing mentor and college professor, who himself was a Connecticut Teacher of the Year and taught me the value of making personal connections with my students before any real learning could occur. I can think of a dozen teachers just like them. I also remember vividly, down to the blue floral dress and the earrings she was wearing, the teacher who made the comment that no one in my family cared about me because they hadn't attended Parents' Night. You see, we used to put all our work in a folder on Parents' Night for our parents to see. Our parents were expected to take those folders. They were left on the desk. My grandmother didn't drive, and there were no late buses in my neighborhood, so my folder was always left on my desk. I tried to be the first one in class so I could remove this folder before anyone noticed. I remember overhearing my teacher tell another teacher in the hallway, their parents don't care, and no one ever comes to inquire about those students. I knew exactly what she meant, and in spite of everything that has happened in my life and all the amazing interactions I have had with teachers, I still remember the razor sharpness of that comment. So I ask you the question, how will your students remember you? Tupac Shakur wrote a poem that is one of my favorites. The title is The Rose That Grew from Concrete, and it reads, "Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law is wrong. It learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared. I identify with this poem because I know what it feels like to have a dream and exist in an environment where nothing is expected to thrive. Many of our students come from communities where nothing is said or done to nurture or support their dreams. They struggle to find sunlight and are constantly met with concrete barriers. Yet teachers can make all the difference in these situations. I carry my experiences as a reminder that as a teacher, I always have to seize every encounter as an opportunity to create a positive memory for a child and ensure that their dreams thrive. What kind of teacher are you? Again, I ask you, how will your students remember you? I want my students to have memories of me as a consummate professional. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. It is not a second-choice career. Teaching is a noble profession, and we must bring the professionalism back to the profession. We must ensure that this is the message we are sending at all times. When students look at us, they should see role models and someone they can be proud of. The field has evolved, and we must evolve by continuing to build capacity in ourselves and others. Be a change agent. Bring forth fresh ideas and continue to challenge yourself. We are responsible for the future, and our classrooms should be shining examples of best practices. Our words and our actions should always support sustained student success. Set high expectations for your students, but even higher expectations for yourself. Remember why you became a teacher and use that to re-energize you to elevate this profession. I have an absolute passion for the work that I do. Figure out a way to capture the energy and excitement that is palpable here tonight and bring it back to your schools. When my students remember me, I want them to feel inspired, encouraged, and possibly influenced to become a teacher themselves. When my students remember me, I want every one of them to have felt included in the conversation. As educators, we must work together to find ways to empower our students intellectually, socially, and emotionally. We should use their cultural experiences as a way to impart knowledge and skills and begin to change attitudes, not as reminders of the obstacles that monopolize their daily lives. Connecticut has so many different communities: urban, suburban, rural, regional, and even reservations. We represent every socioeconomic group, and the number of racial and ethnic groups continues to grow. I teach exceptional students with unlimited potential in the Waterbury Public School District. But every student in every Connecticut school should feel valued, respected, and represented in your classrooms. Make it a priority. We could all learn something from each other. As we develop greater individual understandings, we can have more collective growth as a society. Students cannot be expected to exhibit tolerance and acceptance in the real world, yet never see those behaviors modeled in our schools. We must explore creative and inclusive ways of reaching students. Every child is entitled to an educational experience that is rich and robust and reflective of their personal journeys. Be better. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, when my students remember me, I want them to know without a doubt that I cared. I want students to remember me as someone who cared about their academic growth and their personal growth. Someone who cared about their families and their communities. Someone who took the time to learn their stories and understand their journeys. I want them to remember me as the person who ignited their passion for service and helped them fulfill their obligation to do their part to improve the human condition. It is the connections we make with students that make everything else worthwhile. Say something encouraging, greet your students with a smile, invest the extra time, go the extra mile, leave a significant, inspirational fingerprint. Show them that you care. Teachers are not visitors in the lives of their students. We have an enduring presence and make a lasting impact. They remember us. You are somebody's hero, and you don't even know it. Don't take that responsibility lightly. Continue growing, guiding, and loving your students, because every great dream begins with a dreamer. I know what happens when a teacher chooses to ignore the obstacles and focus on the dreams. I am what happens when a teacher chooses to ignore the obstacles and focus on a dream. My being selected as the 2016 Connecticut Teacher of the Year has forever ingrained a positive memory of education in the hearts and minds of the students and families in the Waterbury community. While you may think that this is a pinnacle in my career, all I can think of is how can I be better? What more can I do? If I could leave you with something tonight, it would be, whatever you did to get here tonight, go back to your schools and your districts and help another teacher do the same. I guess I want to learn from you how to create a ripple effect and change the profession of the teaching, change the perception of the teaching profession. I love being a teacher. I love being a teacher. And I am honored to be selected as the Connecticut Teacher of the Year. I'm far from naive. I am fully aware of the challenges and have a total appreciation for all the problems that we face, but I choose to accentuate the positives. Teaching is not for the faint at heart. Be great, be better, inspire dreams. How will your students remember you? Thank you.